YouTube is a great way to see and learn how people speak. I'm gonna bring you through Paolo from Tokyo's Day in a Life video to show you how you can be an effective and engaging English speaker. We are going to learn 3 skills. Number 1, how to speak in a casual but clear way. Number 2, how to give information in an engaging way. And number 3, how to ask good questions. Each of these learning points have a functional use that you can apply to your real life. In his video, Day in a Life of a Typical Japanese Office Worker in Tokyo, Paolo is really good at bringing you around, giving background information on the topic, and providing his own opinions, recommendations, and feelings about his experience. He's generally very cheerful, positive, and family-friendly. That is the image he wants to give his audience, and it is clear through his language. Think about who your audience is. Is it your colleague? Is it someone new? Is it a formal or informal or semi-formal context? Our first learning point: how can we speak in a casual but clear way? People tend to think standard formal English is the most understandable type of English. But it's not always true. We don't live inside a textbook. When you're too formal, the audience that you're talking to may feel like you're more distant and find it harder to connect with you. When you are friendly and casual, but convey your meaning clearly, people find it easier to understand you. Paolo uses informal but straightforward language that gets to the point in a personal way. The informal adverb pretty is used in pretty lucky.
Pretty lucky to be here.
And
It's pretty dope.
there's also the informal verb bailed, used in
Well, Emmy completely bailed on breakfast.
Then he uses the idiomatic expression I mean
She's like pretty lucky to be here.
I mean is a good way to casually start a sentence that expresses your opinion without making it too formal, like saying in my opinion. Casual speech doesn't mean that you aren't emphasizing anything. Paolo draws attention to his observations with adverbs like really and literally.
So one thing I'm really noticing is just how quiet this office is. Literally, it's like actually fairly respectable.
At the same time, he softens a point to make his observations more casual and non-judgmental. This works by using a bit in,
So she's in a bit of a rush.
kind of in,
I'm kind of surprised that Emmy's company still does this, being as progressive as they are.
and though in.
It's okay though, she's trying to be on time.
How is all this useful in real life? In an everyday context, like having a conversation with someone new, or if you are making a personal vlog, people don't want to listen to someone who speaks in a convoluted way. People's attention spans are short. If you're still watching this video, well done. People want someone easy to understand, not because their language is basic and simple. It's because people can tell when you're trying to make something too complicated. You're showing off. You don't need to do that to get someone to listen. Our second learning point: how can we give information in an engaging way? What do I mean by engaging? Paolo's approach is that he doesn't give information like an authority. He's not trying to be your teacher. He's like a friendly tour guide or an enthusiastic friend who wants to show you around Japan. That is a kind of engagement method. The way Paulo does this is structured. Notice he often starts with something factual by giving an overview of the topic. From there, he provides some interesting information, and sometimes he gives his own opinion based on this information. Here, he tells us what chore is.
Basically, during the meeting, they share important company news from different departments.
Then, he gives his input.
I suppose it's equivalent to today's company email newsletter blast.
Giving information doesn't have to be boring. You don't just want to give information, you want your audience to understand it quickly. For example, Paulo talks about holding the elevator door for people in a Japanese office.
But sometimes people will go back and forth on who'll hold the elevator open, as it's another way to earn those office respect points.
When he says earn those office respect points, he compares holding the elevator door to a game of earning points, which is a light-hearted comparison for non-Japanese people to understand the cultural purpose of doing it. Comparing the information to something familiar so that it's more digestible for the average audience is an efficient method. Paulo also doesn't assume you have prior knowledge. His language puts him on the same level as his audience. We're brought along on his journey to explore. He starts his observations with sentences like,
But I actually noticed something interesting.
and because he doesn't portray himself as an expert, he quite effectively uses the phrase, I don't know if, and
I don't know if it's something worldwide.
it's not supposed to make him look like he didn't do his research. Instead, it offers a chance for the audience to think about the information he's giving and to add on to this information. This becomes a collaborative experience. That's how it is engaging. You're not only told this information, you're invited to share yours too. This works because he positions himself as someone who is familiar with Japanese culture but doesn't call himself an expert. But how is this learning point useful in real life? Even if you are not a YouTuber, you will definitely have opportunities to give information. Whether you are in a business with clients, in education with students, or you just have friends, you'll probably be doing that. You can't assume the other person is actively listening. And even if they are, let's make sure they have an easy time absorbing that information. There's a reason why you're sharing it, and it's likely because you want them to remember or use that information. Our third and last learning point. How can we ask good questions? We often think about how to answer questions. Still, asking good questions can make you a good conversationalist. You can put people at ease by asking accessible, non-threatening, and specific questions. You can also vary between open-ended and closed questions. The question is, how do you know what kind of questions to ask? Paulo is able to talk about what seems like very mundane things that elicit personal and interesting information from people. This is almost like a lesson on small talk. But how do you start a question? Paulo has a nice variety. There are your yes or no questions like,
Is everyone here doing the same job?
which gives the other person the choice to elaborate if they want to, or simply answer yes or no. It's a good question if you want to clarify something quickly. Paulo also addresses people by name before asking his question.
Emmy, how long does it take to put on your makeup?
That helps in signaling to the person that you're talking to them, which is especially helpful if you're talking in a group. Other than that, he comments on something before asking his question.
Nice spread, but who made breakfast for you?
This helps to ease the listener in, making it easier to understand the context of the question. Here, he comments on the breakfast looking nice. When we hear the comment, nice spread, we know what follows will likely be about breakfast. This is proven true as he moves on to ask, who cooked the breakfast? Another example is when he says,
So Emmy, you have an hour until lunch break.
before following up with the question,
What are you working on now?
this is probably because the question, what are you working on now, is too vague, but stating a time frame, the hour until lunch break, will help the other speaker say something more specific, and therefore he successfully gets people to produce different kinds of answers. For question types, Paulo uses open-ended questions with the 5 W's 1 H method. What, why, where, who, when, and how. For example, he asks,
How are people seated in the office?
and
What are you working on now?
open-ended questions are good if you want more details. Paulo also uses short questions. This is a good habit because a long open-ended question requires the listener to process all the words you are saying, which makes answering the question more difficult. For questions asking for opinions, he chooses more closed questions, meaning that he gives us options for our answer. For example, he gives us 2 options for this question.
What do you guys prefer? Do you guys prefer having like blocked off cubicles, or do you like this open office style?
And he gives us 3 options for this other question.
But what do you think about the wet towels, salad chopsticks, or even cleaning up after yourself?
Having options to express your preferences can be less intimidating than having to come up with a whole new opinion. It's a good starting point so that if you want to dig deeper into someone's answer, you already have an idea of their point of view. Letting the other person in the conversation naturally open up using language intentionally is part of building conversation skills. This is useful for any kind of conversation, unless you want to scare someone and you don't care about their answers to your questions. Conclusion. So we learned 3 English speaking skills today. How to speak in a casual but clear way, how to give information in an engaging way, and how to ask good questions. In real life, here are some examples of how you can use these skills. Number 1. Everyday conversations with friends, colleagues, or new people. Number 2, interviews. Number 3, coffee chats, which are more relaxed but still informative meetings between 2 people. Number 4, teaching. And I don't just mean teaching English. It can be anything that requires you to be engaging and trustworthy through your language. Paulo is a great example of a content creator who is able to blend these speaking techniques to engage his audience. You can check out his videos for more examples. Alright, I hope you learned something new today. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you want to see more of such videos where I analyze the language of other YouTube videos. I also teach online English classes, and you can visit my website samchengwork.com to find out more. Thank you for learning with me, and I will see you soon. Bye!